Tofu is such a mystery. Even for people who actually eat tofu, they don't really understand the concept of how tofu is made. In the West, people don't think of tofu beyond that bland, firm, white chunk. It's made to ship and to last in the grocery store, which is very different from how the rest of the world view tofu. The soybean has been around for thousands of years. It's actually considered a noble protein. If you travel to Japan, to China, to Vietnam, to Southeast Asia, tofu shops make the product that day, and then you eat it that day. When you get a block of tofu that's been sitting around for 30 days or longer, you do get that sort of semi-rubbery, bland product. You wouldn't want to use meat that's been sitting around for a long time, so why use bad tofu? It does make a huge difference to use fresh tofu. You'll taste the beany flavors, a nutty flavor. You taste a creamy flavor. It's very earthy. So after you grind the bean and cook it and extracted the milk, you have the bean pulp. It's the okara. Instead of just throwing it out, we give it to Magruder Farm, Mac Magruder. He uses it for his cows, his hogs, and he raises some of the best meat in the Bay Area. Yuba is considered the sashimi of tofu, and it's the pure form of tofu, the skin that forms on top of the soy milk. And that in itself is already difficult to get because of how labor-intensive it is to make. And the reason it's amazing is because it's very flexible as a product. You can use it as a wrap for sushi, you can fry it, you can cut it up and turn it into noodles. You can actually use it for dessert, for example. I went all over the world to look for yuba that I can import. Everything I saw was very, very disappointing, so I had no choice. I had to make it. Nama yuba is like the caviar of tofu. You don't get a lot of it. Nama yuba are the sheets that either are at the end when the milk no longer has protein and fat, so it doesn't fully form, or you can gather nama yuba in the beginning as well if you don't want the milk to fully form into a thick sheet. If I serve a scoop of nama yuba to someone, they'll think it's, wow, some kind of really sweet cheese.
Basically, I'm making a spinach and mushroom lasagna, and instead of using ricotta or a bechamel sauce, I'm using the nama yuba. It's not an ingredient we're used to, so I think you just have to be more creative. It's really nice for dishes that you might use with ricotta or something like that. Or it's great if you want to pan-sear the regular yuba. So we're actually doing that as well, where we've marinated the yuba in some tamari, a little sugar, and after you marinate it, you can just sear it, get a really nice caramelization on it. And then at that point, you can either slice it, toss it with the sauce, or eat it as is. Works real well too.
If you look at olive oils in the last 10 years, people now understand that it makes a difference if you use a really high quality olive oil in a salad. The same thing can be said about tofu.